Chris Lee and Blake Lovell of Southeastern 14 here to roll through games of Saturday, January the 14th. We have previewed Kentucky, Tennessee in a separate video, so we're going to hit all the other 6 games here quickly. We'll start in order of tip-off. Arkansas comes into our backyard to play Vanderbilt. That is a 1 o'clock Central tip-off on ESPNU. Arkansas coming off a disappointing home loss to Alabama. Vandy coming off a closer than a lot of people thought road game at Tennessee. Vanderbilt did win at Arkansas last year. We have noted how Vanderbilt has a tendency to play teams close. One reason I think Vandy would have a chance at an upset is Arkansas doesn't shoot the ball well, but I also think teams with athletes, elite athletes, which Arkansas have, are problematic for Vanderbilt, have been in the past. Vanderbilt is kind of the king of the close game and gets good teams, but it's not really pulled many of these. I like Arkansas to come to Nashville and win.
Yeah, boy, this is a tough one because I think it's way tougher than I would have expected. Vanderbilt keeps every game close, as we've said. That is
even against bad teams.
Well, yeah, I mean, everyone. It's just like that's why I think
Right.
when you look at it from this standpoint, it's an Arkansas team that has some limitations now offensively, and on the road, as we said, hard to win in this league on the road. But I think this is where the Hogs maybe are able to force a few turnovers down the stretch and get a couple of easy buckets. But I don't have a lot of strong confidence in this one because I tell you, I just, as we said, Arkansas's key to success right now is getting to the free throw line, doing a lot, at the rim. And I mean, let's be honest, like Vanderbilt does have some size there too. And, if Liam Robbins is on the floor and yeah, I'll
But you know
take
what? Vanderbilt
Arkansas,
has
but
not had a home court advantage in a while either.
well,
The fans are
there's your
not
thing.
showing up.
Yes.
It would not be surprising to me if Arkansas had, well, I think that would be surprising if Arkansas had as many in the building as Vandy does. But that fan base is checked out. Maybe they get fired up with a team of Arkansas stature coming into town. There is, again, some history of Jerry Stackhouse beating Eric Musselman about this time a year ago. And Ken Palm has got this as Arkansas as a 5-point favorite. Maybe the needle to thread is Vandy to cover and Arkansas to win. But Vanderbilt when's the last time Vanderbilt beat a really good team at home?
Well,
it's been a minute.
But I think when you play as many close games as they have, you're due to get one eventually. And
Yeah.
this to me is the more better opportunity than the one they're going to get next Tuesday against Alabama. I'll go Arkansas, but I'll just be honest with you. There's something about this game that I just think would kind of tie into the, oh no, Arkansas is 1-4, and if that result happens, and so I'll go Arkansas. But I mean, I think even Arkansas fans would probably tell you right now the confidence is not that high with a Vanderbilt team that has played well against, had their chances to win at Missouri, were right there with a chance at Tennessee. Now they play a team on, coming on the road to their building, which, yes, does not have a great home court advantage, but I think this goes down to the wire. But I'll stick with the team that has more wins at this point.
Okay, Georgia going to Ole Miss as we do this on a Thursday morning. Ken Pomeroy gives Ole Miss a 63% chance to win and favors the Rebels by 3. Ole Miss, honestly, is probably playing worse than any team in the league at this point. But Georgia also has yet to win in somebody else's building, which it's had 3 chances so far. It has won neutral site game against UAB, which was a nice win. Georgia playing a lot better under Mike White. This, though, feels to me like a little bit of a get-right game for Ole Miss, which can I guess the defense has slipped a little bit, 59 in KenPom, but still a pretty solid team on that end.
If Ole Miss is going to win one, this has to be it. And I almost feel like if we break the game down, like you can put a lot of stuff, I think, in Georgia's advantage, perhaps. But I'm like, Ole Miss can't possibly look up and we said realistically, if you look at the schedule beyond this, out South Carolina, at Arkansas, home against Missouri, home against Kentucky, at Vandy, at Georgia. Like, you keep going. There's not many on there you're circling for Ole Miss right now. I tend to think, like, we see this happen a lot in the league. You got to find one somewhere, and I think this is probably that one that Ole Miss finds at home, because I just can't imagine that they are over half the league 5 games down the road here. But I'll go with that. But like we said, really impressed with what Georgia's doing right now. They have played well even in the games on the road. They played well for the most part. Yeah, they've had some stretches where they haven't, but I still think defensively, they will do some things here to keep this a low scoring game. Would be surprised if I don't think it'll be Georgia Mississippi State level, but I think this will still be kind of one of those
Yeah.
games that is certainly, my guess, one in the 60s. It's just still the question: can Ole Miss find enough offense to win that game like that? And can they?
But this is a game where Matt Morrell could carry them. He's done that before.
Well, Terry Roberts could do the same for Georgia, and
That's true.
Look, again, we're splitting hairs here because this is an 0-4 team against a team that's 2-1, but you still feel like Ole Miss maybe not as bad as the 0-4. They've just played a tough group to this point. Feel like it lets up a little bit here, and this is as must win as it gets for Ole Miss. So I will go with them slightly here to figure it out, because I can't imagine looking up and Ole Miss, if they lose at South Carolina, you're really looking at the possibility, if they lose this game, of like an 0-9 start in the SEC or something, or 0-8. I just can't imagine that, right? But I'll pick them to win this one to avoid that spot.
I'm with you on that one. Okay, next up we got Missouri going to Florida. That is a 2:30 tip-off in Gainesville on the SEC Network. Missouri has not played as well its last 2 games, narrowly missed getting upset by Vanderbilt at home last Saturday, went to A&M and had a clunker on Wednesday. Florida, all right, Blake, since you and I have done this for a couple years now, I've been a lot higher on Florida. And I feel like you finally pulled me over to the dark side on the Gators, which the computers have inexplicably loved Florida all year. Everybody's had them inside the top 50 or really close to it. I just didn't see it. So what, of course, happens? Florida beats Georgia at home and then goes to LSU and gets a nice win, as Colin Castleton, who'd been struggling, had a little bit of a turnaround game there. I feel like Missouri, it kind of done what Tennessee had done, where it just had played so well, it couldn't play much better. Missouri's got so many scoring options, whereas Florida just, it's really gotten ugly offensively at times for them. I feel like this is a bounce back spot for Missouri. This one is, according to Ken Pomeroy, Florida's a 4-point favorite. I think I want to go the other way on this, although Florida's burned me a couple of times of late.
I'm going reverse mojo here. I'm going Florida. You know why I'm doing that. I'm trying to get my client back on track here. So when I pick, you know what happens. But I feel like I've actually been on with Missouri here recently, and so I don't know if it is a good thing that I'm picking Florida. But I don't know why. I think this is one where you start to see, again, Missouri's played Missouri's played a tough sort of schedule beyond December. They got to the 1st of December, and it's really been a grind the past month and a half, really. And I think when you look at it from that standpoint, here's another road game, right? And I think they will play better because, as we said, A&M, what happened is A&M's getting better defensively, which you didn't really ever question was going to happen. And Missouri just didn't make shots. And I think against Florida, you've seen a team now that is building confidence. And I think getting that road win at LSU the way they did, I just feel like Florida is more confident at this very moment. And I'm going to lean on the home team because I like to do that a lot. And so I'm going to do that again here. I still think Missouri is going to be fine, but I feel like this is one of those stretches where, you're in SEC play now and you're in kind of this point where the games away from home, as we said, can just sometimes be really tough to kind of find that consistency, both with your shot, which is a team that, as we said, really depends on their shot, right? They have to be great offensively because they still have problems defensively. I think that is a tough thing to ask for on the road, to be that flawless, in some of these circumstances. And I just Florida's got all the momentum, and so I will pick the Gators here. Like I said, I really feel like Missouri needs to get one of these. They've already lost the one at A&M. I think they need to get one of these on the road, but I think it's going to be a challenge. So I will go with Colin Castleton and the Gators here. Even though, I mean, look, it's going to come down to get a game. Defense. Missouri has to hit shots and rebounding. Right? We talk about rebounding a lot, and I just think those are all big factors. But for a team on the road that's coming off a disappointing performance, I'll lean on the home team that's coming off of a winning performance on the road and feeling a lot better about itself than it was 2 weeks ago.
Okay, point or two of information here, just for the sake of pointing these things out. Florida has lost 3 times at home. Of course, those losses were to Florida Atlantic and your other client, Dusty May, who may be in the SEC this time next year. Just going to throw that out there. Connecticut, which is at times been the best team in the country, and then to a surging Texas A&M team, last week. And Missouri's only played, this will only be Missouri's 3rd true road game, for whatever that's worth. Has beaten Wichita State in overtime and lost at Arkansas a week and a half ago.
Yep. I'll still pick Florida.
Okay. Next one, LSU travels to Alabama. I don't know how much time we're going to spend on this one. I'd be floored if Alabama lost this one after winning in Fayetteville. Let's see. Ken Palm has got this as, oh my goodness, Alabama's a 17-point favorite. We'll see what the actual line is. That may be a lot of points to cover coming off a couple of big wins. No, you're not buying it.
I don't think so,
Okay.
Chris. That's
All
not
right.
that surprising. I'm not surprised at all. As we said, what's LSU's problem? LSU struggles to score the ball at times, and they rely a lot on KJ Williams and Adam Miller. And if one of those guys is not on, what happens? Florida happens, right? Because as we said, KJ Williams had 23, Adam Miller had 8, and
and they've got guys that can match up with KJ Williams.
Well, and they it's not even just those two. They need more elsewhere. And as we said, they've gotten that at times this season, but as the schedule is getting more daunting, it's a harder challenge. So I'm not surprised at all this number is this high. If it winds up being that high, look at Alabama. What do we keep saying? They are just so good offensively, but guess what? We don't talk about their defense enough either. They are getting they're getting even better defensively. They're obviously a lot better than they were last year, but they're continue to get better defensively. And that only makes them even better offensively because it makes it easier to get easier shots. So I just think I have a hard time seeing LSU finding enough offense to keep up here. I think Alabama wins this going away.
Texas A&M at South Carolina.
By the way, guys, sorry, we're kind of on a time crunch, and we're going to kind of speed through some of these. So you guys know, come on. We give you 40-minute videos on random SEC basketball stuff all the time. So this may not be one of our longer ones, but
we have lots to do today. Before I get into A&M in South Carolina, a quick word to our sponsor, BROTHROW. Betting $11 to win 10 stinks. With BROTHROW, you can bet 10 to win 10. It lets you bet on all 50 states because it's not the house. Bettors have a fair chance at winning. It is the only sports betting platform that doesn't take a cut of every bet. Don't have to deposit money into a BROTHROW account. No minimum bets. No need to connect your bank account. Bettors pay each other directly. It's a hassle-free sign-up process that gets you in the action in seconds. Go to brothrow.com/SE14. Once you're there, ask to join our private group. We'll have some fun there. Anyway, if you're going to bet on games, that's the way to do it. So help the folks who help us out. All right, Texas A&M travels to South Carolina. We called this a couple weeks ago. Look out for A&M to surge. That's what Buzz Williams does. They don't look great in the pre-conference portion of the schedule, but right when the SEC hits is when Buzz Bowl starts to kick in. A&M had 6 guys scoring double figures in a really impressive home win over Missouri. And South Carolina has discovered some firepower outside Gigi Jackson. Michi Johnson played exceptionally well in Lexington. Chico Carter can bounce up and have some big games at times, but I just think A&M has got more pieces. It really drops off for Carolina after about 4 or 5 guys. And with the way the Aggies are playing, Blake, it's hard for me to bet against them in Columbia.
Yeah, I think this is one of those games. Sometimes you see it. I mean, think about how big that win was for South Carolina, Kentucky. Sometimes you just kind of have that, that exhale, that hangover effect. And, um, I just, again, the problem is, do we judge South Carolina, as we talked about this before? Do we judge them on one game or do we judge them on the 15 games before? I think you have to tie them all together. And I think there's still reason to believe that, they got the win at Kentucky, but they still have some things that they do not do well. And I think A&M's kind of the team that can bring out a lot of that, given what they can do, both in a rebounding standpoint on the defensive side of the floor. Again, they're forcing more turnovers now. They're defending better now. It's starting to, I think, turn a corner on the defensive end. And again, one of those games we said Missouri just couldn't make shots, but I have to give A&M credit for that too, and a lot of that. So I think A&M carries the defense on the road here and picks up a win that may not be pretty from start to finish. And I do expect South Carolina is going to use some of that momentum that they got at Kentucky to continue to play better. I just look at it from a matchup standpoint. I don't know if I feel like this is a great matchup for Carolina, but I also think that, again, we've seen the worst of A&M too, and it's a team that doesn't always do everything great, especially maybe from an offensive standpoint. But I'm going to pick the Aggies here just because it's going to continue our theme of we said banking on Texas A&M being 5-0 to start the SEC. They got to win this one to do that, and I'll pick them. And what will probably be a pretty good game. So
A&M has gone 2-1 on the road. South Carolina, for what it's worth, has only lost one game at home. That was the blowout to Tennessee last week. It's won some other games at home, but other than Clemson, really nothing of note. So there's that. Okay, last one, Mississippi State and Auburn. State is just tremendous defensively, but it feels like Auburn has started to play a little better. Auburn can create offense and hit shots and has been almost impossible to beat at home. You remember we went through this last week with Auburn hosting Arkansas, I think it was, and Auburn had not been playing well, but I said, yeah, good luck winning in that building. That's exactly how it played out. Auburn won that one by 13. State can't hit foul shots. 7-22 at Georgia. I really like Auburn in this spot.
Yep, I'll take Auburn. I just think Mississippi State offensively, as we said, just I don't trust them, and you certainly don't trust them if this thing becomes a free throw shooting contest, which probably not trusting either team in that regard. But Mississippi State, it's too glaring at this point that I think you can't trust them offensively, especially on the road. And I don't know. I think that's it. Like that would have been surprised me if this is a lower scoring game. State keeps it close and does some things that disrupt Auburn. On the offensive end of the floor, who, as we said, I think Auburn's starting to figure some things out there and play more consistently. No, it wouldn't surprise me, but I just think the challenges for Mississippi State are not things that you can fix game to game right now. I think it's a bigger because we said coming into the year, right? We thought they'd be the worst 3-point shooting team, but overall shooting now, they are probably the worst shooting
Can't
team.
hit unguarded
period.
shots,
and I think that's the problem. So, yeah, I mean, look, this is probably a defensive minded game on both sides, but I just think you certainly lean on Auburn's ability to make those kind of runs offensively way more than you do Mississippi State right now. And I think that's where Bruce Pearl's team takes advantage and adds, another win here to move to 4-1 in SEC play.
Parting thoughts, Blake.
Now, be sure to subscribe. As we said, we kind of had to roll through this one a little quicker, but you can certainly find all of our other in-depth videos on SEC basketball, our reaction and everything. And, we'll continue to have the live streams. We will let you know when those are coming. Some will be kind of impromptu as they usually are. So hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications so you don't miss when we do go live to talk SEC basketball, football, and everything else.
Thanks for watching Southeastern 14. We'll see you again soon.